All right, live. Super excited. I have Dana Derricks in the house, aka the world's greatest goat farmer, aka the copywriting professor, and the man who wrote this book. If you do not read this book, go get this book. That book, yes, that one. No, Dana actually is with this Dream 100. He is like by far, in my opinion, the expert in this. I know other people talk about it, but Dana really has got this to a science of how you can begin to work with people who are, to be honest, that you would never imagine you could ever work with. And you're able to create value for them in essence so that they're like, yeah, I'll work with you. I'll help you out for this. And you're able to capture their attention. And I'm going to let Dana give you practical stuff on this because they say if you can teach it, you know it. And I can't teach it yet, so I don't know it well enough.
Well, what's up, man? Thanks so much for having me. Super excited to be here. And in case anybody are wondering what sound these guys make, it is this. Like, no kidding. That's what they sound like at night. So other than
I got to tell you, the funniest thing, right? I actually told my wife, she's like, so you have an on today? I'm like, oh, Dana Derricks will be on. And she's like, and she didn't necessarily know who you were because she's not as familiar with the industry, but I was explaining to her, I'm like, honestly, I'm kind of nervous. I don't know what he's going to show up looking like. I don't know if he's going to have overalls with no shirt and a hat on with like the straw hat. I said, I honestly have no idea. So I'm like, wow, I got, hey, look, I got professional Dana today.
Yeah, I showered and everything, man. I'm ready. Well, thanks. I'm really grateful to be here and super excited to geek out on this.
Yes.
As you know, it's pretty cool. And it's actually happening right now for all of you that are watching or listening to this, and you're not familiar with the Dream 100. It's going to be kind of like an Inception thing where like you're watching it happen as you're being taught how to do it. So this is going to be really cool. I'm super excited for this.
And by the way, just so everybody else knows, like this is not something that you ever like stop learning on. Like I have. As I'm going through with Dana, I have my notepad here because the bottom line is everything that this guy's going to be spilling, like just stuff that I've been through his book, the Dream 100 book. I've been through this thing probably 4 times, 5 times, which I know is not enough, but I've been through it that many times. And every time I hear him talk about it, it's like, oh crap, I forgot about that, or I didn't implement that, or what can I learn? So this is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. So I'm going to actually let you go and talk about how you found, or how the Dream 100 concept became relevant to you.
Awesome. So I'll actually take it back a number of years and share one of the first stories of me Dream 100. So I actually didn't figure out what the Dream 100 was until actually like maybe 4 years ago. So I was doing the Dream 100 though. Without knowing there was a word for it, which probably a lot of you out there are as well. So one of the first instances of me doing the Dream 100 was I was playing high school football in my hometown, which is literally the entire town of 600 people. It's not the high school, that's the whole town. So yeah. So I graduated with 30 kids. We had a big class. So needless to say, we weren't a hotbed for football recruiting or colleges coming down and trying to recruit us, but I wanted to play college football. So what I did was I kind of took it into my own hands and I printed off a list of 40 different schools that I potentially wanted to play at. I put together a package for them. So I had my highlight tape. I had a letter of recommendation from a coach. I put a handwritten letter to each school and I sent them out. And 3 weeks went by and nothing happened. And I was like, oh, crap. That was a waste of time. And then the next week, I get called down to the principal's office sitting in class. And for me, it's a bad thing. Anybody else, right?
I would be nervous. I'll be honest. I've been there.
Maybe if Trent got called down, he'd be thinking, uh-oh, right? So
exactly.
So anyway, I get down there and there's a football coach in there. And they're like, there to recruit me. I was like, what? And then long story short, I ended up getting recruited by like 15 different schools. And I'm still to this day the only person in the history of my entire school district to get an athletic scholarship of any type to college because of the Dream 100. Awesome. It was a really cool moment. So that's just an example of me as a 17-year-old kid, not even know what I'm doing the Dream 100. And then fast forward to now business. And really the Dream 100 is just it's a value exchange between strategic partners that you decide who you want to work with, whether landing them as a customer or a client, or partnering with them so that you can get access to their customers or clients to then prescribe you to them and their audience. That's really what the Dream 100 is for business, but it happens everywhere. And I don't see the world the same. I'm sure you don't either now, because you can see the Dream 100 going on everywhere. And now you're doing it because you got me here. You've got other awesome guests on your show.
Totally.
So, yeah, that's why I get so excited about it.
I think it's so cool too, because it's something that, like, you're always looking for a system. People think, well, do I need to do a different system for like influencers, and like a different system for clients, and I need a different system. And while those are all in different like buckets, if you will, like the system works across the board. Like if you learn, I'm noticing this from other people I see it implemented too, is like, if you learn the system, you learn how to do it, it works for getting large clients you didn't expect, for finding influencers to open you up to their clients, and it's amazing how effective it is.
Absolutely. And a lot of times people, they'll mistake the Dream 100 for like influencer marketing, or they'll like pigeonhole it into like this one thing. And it really isn't, because Dream 100 is not one thing, it's everything. And I mean, I can prove that by like looking at the forward of my Dream 100 book here. Was written by Russell Brunson, who I know you know, and most of you probably know.
Most of the audience will know him, yeah.
Yeah, so the quote that I think says it all from Russell is this. He says, "This is the foundation for our entire company." I think
it's true.
That's it all, right? Absolutely.
I mean, we've heard Russell tell the stories about how his Dream 100 included the likes of like Tony Robbins. And now all of a sudden, like, Tony is speaking at every one of Russell's events now, which is just mind-boggling.
Partnering on a launch of a product together, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that, I mean, it works. It takes some time to get the big whales, I'll call them, or your A-listers, but it is worth it because it's literally life-changing.
Now, obviously, I'm going to get this out of the way, because even for those that only watch short, normally we do this at the end. I want to say this right up front. Where do people go to get this book?
So I actually, funny story, I literally used to sell this book for $2,000 a copy, and I sold 9 copies in the first 2 months when I launched it. Like, no shit, same book.
And
right?
I actually know people that paid the $2,000. I know a lot of, actually probably 5 or 6 people who have paid the $2,000. Yeah.
That's awesome. So that's the cool news for me. Now, the cool news for you guys listening or watching that want a copy of this thing, you don't have.
Oh, hold on one second. I think we lost you. Hold on. We lost Dana. We're going to get Dana right back in here. Okay, there you're back. Okay, good.
I'm back.
The cool copy for us that are listening is,
you don't have to pay $2,000 for it unless you want to. I'll take your $2,000. But actually, for Trent's audience, I'll have him post the link below or wherever. You can actually get a copy of this for free. Just pay for the shipping.
Awesome.
And this bad boy will show up. It's pretty hard, isn't it, Trent? It's not like
No, it's, and you know what the nice thing is? It's really sexy. Like, the outside's nice and it's got this like smooth, like supple feel to it for a hard book. Yeah, it's really awesome.
I tell you what, if you sell a book for $2,000, it better look the part, right?
It better be nice and sexy when you get the book too. Yeah. Absolutely.
But,
Anyway, so we will definitely have this in the comments. I'll have the link in the description of this video. I wanted to get that out of the way, because just in case you're here for a little while and you can't get it, come back and find the video description, and the link will be in there, because it's one of the greatest resources I think that anybody can own for their business. So now on to the practical part of the Dream 100. I'm excited. So when someone's starting, obviously they're thinking, I have all these people that I want to work with, but I am, in my opinion, I'm a nobody. I'm just starting my agency, or I'm just trying to create this new course. Like, what are the first steps that they got to dig into when they're looking at, like, this is how you start to reach those people?
Yeah. So don't worry, I was there too. Like, you don't have to be a big name to do really well with the Dream 100. So just keep in the back of your mind, it's a value exchange. Okay, that's all it is. So when I started out, I actually followed the golden rule, what I've coined as the golden rule of Dream 100ing. So you can't do this for everybody, but you're going to list your top targets, right? So whether they're people you want to land as a client, or it's people you want to partner with or have promote you or whatever, right? Like, So you got like, let's say your top 3. For me, one of those people was Russell Brunson. So I think back 3-4 years ago when I was an absolute nobody, just working as a freelancer. I didn't know anybody. Nobody knew me, whatever, doing my own thing. I started really getting geeked out on Russell's stuff, and I put him on my Dream 100. And so the golden rule is this: if you really want to work with somebody and establish like a real relationship with them, like Russell did with Tony, like Dana has with Russell, the golden rule is this: you gotta buy all their stuff, like, or at least as much of their stuff as possible. So it was way easier for me to get on Russell's radar by consuming all of his content and then joining his inner circle mastermind, right? Like that fast forwarded me years. Now I know not everybody's able to do that. Excuse me, but
there's always things that you could do in your price range.
Absolutely. And even just consuming,
like, I'll be honest, at the time I didn't have $2,000 to buy the book. But the moment I got down where the book wasn't $2,000, and the first time I saw you offer for not $2,000, I bought the book instantly.
That's awesome.
It was a no-brainer.
And this is a perfect example too of, even though, Trent, you haven't given me $50,000 or something crazy, you bought my book, and not only that, you've consumed the heck out of it, which I really appreciate. And that's why I'm here, in part, because I know that you know the value of this Dream 100. You know the Dream 100 from my book. And so for those of you out there that don't have a huge budget to go blow through everybody's stuff, you can consume their podcast. You can watch their videos. You can read their books. You can follow their email list. Like, you can do things and consume their stuff. That's how I started with Russell, actually. I didn't just go from 0 to inner circle. Like, I consumed every single episode of his Marketing in Your Car back when I did
that one too.
Yes. And so
that's a lot. Wasn't it like 300 if I remember? Like, he got a lot of them in.
It was in his car a lot, yeah. But the point is like, when you do have that interaction, even if it's later or whenever or just within the community, the stuff is good as your Dream 100 target, right? So I see Trent in the ClickFunnels community all the time, throwing value and making a name for yourself, because you know the stuff and you've consumed this stuff. Just because you're not in his inner circle doesn't mean that you're not going to get on his radar by building value in his community and serving his community like you have been. So that's another awesome example of doing this, I guess.
It also means that you can't get in because there's no openings.
Yeah, I guess I got it at the right time. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's just like focus on. And another thing is people will try to do is they'll try to go wide instead of deep. And for me, like going back to the 40 schools, I could have. I mean, there's hundreds of schools that I could have tried to go after, but I narrowed it to 40 so I could actually write a handwritten letter to each one and take go deep on those. So that.
Where'd he go? One sec. You lost him. Hold on. He broke up real quick. He'll be back in just a second. There we go. Hey, Be Live, don't sweat it. Be Live does it sometimes. Hey, you know what you should do? Refresh real fast and come right back in, and it'll probably just fix it itself. It does this to me sometimes. That happen. All right, so we're gonna get Dana right back in here, but I got to talk to you guys seriously though. Anybody who is like doing this with the Dream 100, right? Okay, here's Dana. He's coming back in. But I got to tell you, like the biggest way that I reached out to Dana. I mean, I literally reached out today and said, hey, I have this Facebook Live show that I'd love to have you on. And I said, look, I want you to bring the value of the Dream 100. I want you to talk about building relationships and, reaching people that you don't think you can reach. And so my point is very simple. It's like, I knew how to present it to him because of the fact that I had read his book and read his information. And I had purchased and consumed his product. So anyway, you were saying you had 40 schools.
Yeah. So if you just exactly what Trent just suggested, but like, don't think just because the number is Dream 100 that you have to go deep on 100 people. You can cast your net and it can be 100 or 50 or 20, whatever, but then choose, your top 5 or your top 3 even. So I go through some of this in my challenge, but go like choose a small number to go really deep on. And so Trent is doing that in the ClickFunnels community. So I would suggest doing the same and consuming, 3 to 5 people, all of their stuff that you can, whether that's buying it or just consuming the free stuff, whatever you can do to get on their radar and to give back to their community and serve their community. And they're going to actually want to reciprocate because of that.
Now, let me ask you: do you focus on? And I think I know this answer, but I want to get it anyway. Do you focus more on the community or them specifically? Because I think the community is easier. Like I can go into ClickFunnels community and give value to the community and try and look for maybe eventually get recognized. And Russell's like, hey, yeah, this guy, look, he's giving insane value. But to give value to that specific person is, I think, where like your system that you put together and like your coaching and stuff, like the Dream 100 comes into specific benefits, if you will. Like that's the biggest benefit, is finding ways to catch that person's attention, because that's really hard. Even in a community, that's really hard to do.
Of course. So I think that's one direction, one angle that you can take, is being a champion of their cause and giving back to their community. Like that's one way to get on their radar, right? Another way to get on their radar, like I said, is to buy your way in and join their whatever stuff, right? That instantly gets you on the radar. But it's all, I mean, I would look at it as more like it's all a bucket that you're filling. And the more full the bucket is, the more they're going to notice you, especially when you get toward the top of the bucket when it's complete. Yeah. So I would look at it that way. And there's other things that can be done to get on someone's radar too. And using Russell as an example, like Russell, think about how you can improve and help with not only their community, but also whatever their product or service is, right? So there's people that get on Russell's radar all the time. If we look at, for example, like look at Jamie Smith, right? The CF Pro Tools guy. Like absolutely. He got on Russell's radar because he made ClickFunnels a whole heck of a lot better and improved the crap out of it and gave us open new doors for what it can do. So there's
scripts that can increase the functionality and
exactly. So there's other ways to get on people's radar. Now Jamie, I believe, is even. I think they partnered or somehow worked out something. So I like that's another way. And Jamie never joined Russell's inner circle, right? So that's another angle to take. Then what Trent was saying earlier about infiltrating the community and all that. Now you'll see there's a bunch of people who mastered that, who became sort of leaders within the community that now got brought on as coaches for the 2CCX coaching program, which is another way that I don't even think many of them even bought it. Some of them, yes, but that's another way to get on the radar and get in. So however you can contribute value, because it's, remember, just a value exchange.
Well, I noticed one thing that you do a lot of is you continue to give value. Like even I watched an old funnel hacking TV video, and I saw the one where you actually were bringing I think it's the gorilla in the chicken suit, when you were redoing all of their stuff, all of the copy and the sales page. And I'm like, little things like that, like reaffirm and kind of like solidify the relationship that you're starting to create.
Yeah, I love that you watched that. That's great.
I just watched it this morning, actually.
That's awesome. Yeah, so like that's another way. Like it's kind of the whole, like, and this is something I go through in my Dream 100 challenge, but identifying what your superpower is so that you can leverage that and then doubling down on it so you can leverage that to then Dream 100 with it and then provide enormous or tremendous amounts of value, right? Like the reason I got to go hang out with Russell with him in his office for 3 days on that project, and then go hang out at his house with his kids and everything, which not many people get to do, right? Yeah, like not
in the wrestling room.
Yes, that was exhausting. His kids are awesome.
We are struggling today with BeLive. I apologize. BeLive sometimes has these issues. So Dana hopped out. I'm going to refresh real quick. I'll be right back. So 2 seconds. Be right back. Okay, we're back. And we're getting Dana in here real fast. There we go.
BeLive hates me.
BeLive, you know what, though? Hey, at least you and I are able to get this back. I was in here with Jim, and it just crashed and decided it did not like either one of us anymore and shut it down for the rest of the day. It was brutal. But yeah, it's you're right. Like I can't, outside of the people who actually work at ClickFunnels, like I can't think of anybody else that I've seen that actually has gone over to like Russell's house and been able to create that relationship with him.
Yeah.
So, but I think one thing that's super important to mention is that it's real. Like nothing that you're doing is contrived. And I think that's a huge point.
Yeah, and it is. I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of the things that I really harp on is it has to be your giving, it has to be unconditional. So there's two reasons for that. Number one, when you give and you expect something in return and you don't get it, or if you get nothing, like let's say you send somebody a package of or with a gift card, or you do something for somebody and they don't even acknowledge it, that stings if you're expecting it, right? So
Yeah,
you just have to give and just forget. If they don't do anything or say anything, it's fine, like unconditional. But then more importantly, I think for the unconditional giving is it all right if I make like a dating analogy
for
here that
sure.
might be a little bit past PG-13?
Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
Okay. So when you have sort of an agenda or like your expectation is that you get something in return when you give, it's kind of like the guy at the bar that, he's just taking you out to dinner and stuff because he wants to, at the end of the night with the gal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like people, they can sniff that out and it cheapens the whole deal, right?
Mhm.
So when you have that expectation that there's some sort of condition or expectation, it doesn't work.
No, I agree totally. What's interesting though is that, and again, guys, we're going to give you overviews. This is not. I just can't literally like I've been on here and I have not like done a lot of pitching for stuff, but I'm going to tell you straight up, this is one of the best books I've ever read. So you're going to hear me say it over and over. And in the book, he goes into a lot more for systems and talking about like the strategy of what do this, then this, then this. And I know he gets even more into his coaching with that. But I noticed one of the things that you talk about a lot in both the book and some of the teachings I've seen you do is that it really comes down to like your research is what is huge. Like really, truly, it's yes, it's a lot of it is buying the product, right? A lot like you talked about, so you get the understanding of, what they're about, who they are, what their business is about. But you also talk about getting very in depth into who they are personally. I mean, like we think about like Russell, he loves wrestling. We love superheroes and really starting to dig down into the personal nature of that person and being able to get them things or send little things here and there, little gifts, little stuff, just to kind of catch their attention. That is very personal in nature.
Yeah.
And I think that's insanely huge that people forget. It's not all about business. We work with who we like.
Absolutely. And it's funny because one thing we have to remember is that we're all kids that are trapped in adult bodies, to be honest.
Amen.
Right? Like,
hallelujah to that.
So I'll prove that. So imagine you've got like the most prim and proper, let's say some attorney, some tight-britched attorney, right? Their belt is so tight on their pants, I think they're gonna pass out. But anyway, they're in some really shiny office in New York City, and they don't have any time for nonsense. They are very mature, very astute, very whatever, right? But
Right.
look, check this out. They are a kid inside. Here's how. When they go on vacation to Disney World, they've got the Mickey hat on. They're running around the place, drinking the whatever butter beer. They're doing the whole thing. That's the same person. They're just coming out and it's manifesting there. So when somebody gets something in the mail that is cool and wacky and whatever, and it's in line with what their interest is, their inner child comes out and they really appreciate it and they like that. So I love that you recognize that, man.
I just think, I know that you're very creative. And I think that's one of the things you've talked about the most in the Dream 100 when I see this is it doesn't necessarily have to be giving gifts. It doesn't necessarily have to be, it's not one thing. It's being creative and trying to find ways to engage that person. Because I've seen you talk about whether it's sending a package in the mail, whether it's doing sending a video thanking them for this, or whether it's giving in their community and just giving a ton of value away. Like there's a ton of creativity involved in the Dream 100 because you have to truly try and stand out. I think that's the biggest, that's what I'm looking for. That's the biggest measurement to everything is that you need to try and stand out and be different.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when what you said, you nailed it, where you can get to know their personal life as much as they let you, right? So that's another rule, because I've had people who, what I call ghetto Dream 100, where they kind of maybe watch a 2-minute video on it or whatever, and then they think they're an expert, and then they'll go and do stuff that's like a little bit too much. Like once in a while, people will, if they can't get a hold of me, they'll try to like go through my wife or something, and it's just like, okay, like too far, right?
Yeah, that's a little creepy.
Exactly. So, now the other side of it though is, I always say that kind of the rule of thumb is what they put out there is kind of fair game, right? So if they're shooting videos with their kids all the time, and you get to know the kids and all that, like which
totally
like,
different. Like
exactly.
Dave Woodward does it when he has his kids on, and his kids have their own Facebook profiles, and
Absolutely.
they're marketers in their own right. So then if you get to know one of Dave's kids, totally different.
Exactly. So there is a right and a wrong way to Dream 100. That's for sure. And
I have a 14, 12-year-old daughter. Someone reaches out to one of my daughters to try and get a hold of me, I'm not going to probably want to work with you. I'm just going to throw it out there right now. It's not going to happen.
Right. And I know everybody's thinking like, wow, no crap. But like, you'd be surprised at what people try to do. It's kind of funny at my live events like Dream 100 Con and whatnot. Like Becca gets almost more attention than me because she's easier to access because the line is shorter for her at that event. Maybe she's better looking than me. That's probably why, but
well, yeah. Look, my wife's the same way. The goal is to always marry up, right? I mean, we know.
High five. So, but the point is like my book is a great starting point, and I think Trent, having gone through it 4 times, I think he's getting to the point now where that's amazing, and I think he can more confidently do this Dream 100 thing. But the worst thing that people could do, and I just want to caution everybody, is just to like kind of like, in theory, this thing sounds great, and then go and like try it and then screw it up, because I'm on the receiving end of that all the time. And I'm just like, yo, you guys got to read my book or get my challenge, because the approach you're taking is so poor. Like, no wonder it's not working, right? I can tell that you don't.
Now, I have one question. Has anybody ever tried to send you an actual goat yet?
Yes. You didn't.
Have they really?
2 people. Yes. So, dude, yes. So one person, I actually had to make a public announcement. Hey, we are at capacity. Like, I love all you, but no more goats. And I like prevented a 3rd one. So for the first one, some gal drove, I kid you not, like 12 hours one way. And I was prearranged. Like, it wasn't like she just showed up, but
she didn't just show up with the goat. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So that was awesome. And then even better, I think, was a friend of mine, Bart Miller, he mailed me a goat. Like, I kid you not. He actually put a goat on an airplane from Idaho.
Pun intended there. You kid us not.
Yeah. But he put a goat on an airplane, and it was a nightmare. He had to get it microchipped and like go through all this. Like,
oh my gosh,
it was crazy. But he mailed me a goat, and it was the coolest thing.
Now I'm curious, because I know you actually are a goat farmer.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna go off topic for a second here. I know you're actually like a legit goat farmer. It's not just like, hey, I have a couple goats out here. Like, if anybody follows you, they see there's goats in lots of pictures because you guys actually farm goats. How did you start farming goats?
Okay, so you say we're going off topic. I think we're coming on topic now. We're finally to the point.
Fantastic.
Right? I wish I had this crazy. I should probably make up a really cool story. But long story short, I grew up on a dairy farm, and I'm like a 12th generation farmer as far back as you can trace it. And I got out of college, bought my house, whatever. And I had a pen that had nothing in it. The previous owners of the house had animals, and the ragweed was 4 feet high. So I had a choice. I was like, I'll go chop that down every year, or I could get some goats. And so I thought 3 goats won't be so bad. I do this. I know how to farm. That quickly ballooned. Now we're up to 8. It's become almost like I got a lot going on now. Now the wife wants horses and donkeys and everything. So,
oh my goodness,
we're getting up there.
Okay, because I didn't know if it actually started, because I know your background was you were a copywriter, and then you went from your copywriting, which obviously leads to you being able to write. You have this, you have the Dream 100 book, you have I'm gonna butcher the title. Forgive me, I don't have this one. The High Ticket Secrets book, is that it?
Yeah, High Ticket Book Secrets.
Woo. That's the one right there, and that's the one where you go over your secrets about how you actually were able to sell this book for $2,000. Exactly. Which is awesome. So that's why I didn't know if you were actually raising goats at one point for like income, or if it was just like you just happened upon it, like, hey, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring a few goats on here because I'm used to them.
I'm a farmer through and through. It's in my blood. My goats probably make more money being my marketing mascots than they would out of the milk I could produce from them. So they do work for me, that's for sure.
Well, and you know what? This also comes back to now we go to something that Russell talks about, your attractive character. And I got to say, like, you kind of brought this whole thing. I remember I wasn't able to be at 2019 FHL. I was at 2018. 2018, you were passing out the straw hats, walking around. I mean, I'm assuming you probably tried to sneak in a goat or two, and they're just like, nah, that doesn't work. You can't have that here.
Yeah, we did look into it, and Disney World, actually, they said, we've seen it all. The problem was we didn't have enough lead time. They needed like 6 months clearance, and with all of the probably fines and whatever else of bringing a live goat into a place to serve food and whatnot, I was down to it, but yeah, I didn't want to get kicked out of there.
But I just think that's one of the coolest things that you've done is in the fact that you've been able to embrace that, because what it's done, yes, is the goat farmer necessarily like related to the business? No, but it's cool because you've been able to take that attractive character and you've created the character that's totally memorable.
Well, thank you. And
I mean, that's the first thing we think of. We know that anybody in the industry that knows you knows that when it comes to copywriting, that you're extremely good at copywriting. I mean, like the Copywriting Professor is a good name for you. And we obviously know that you know your stuff when it comes to Dream 100.
Thank you.
But you've been able to have this thing like with the attractive character that I think is really smart. Most people don't have that's why I was asking about the farming thing, because you always wonder from the outside in, is it a shtick? You know what I mean? Like, is this a shtick? Is it a little game? And it's really not. I mean, didn't you just get it? Is it Camaro I saw you got last year?
Yeah, Challenger, that's
what it was, a Challenger. And I saw a goat on the Challenger. I was like, oh, he loves them goats then. There ain't no way in the world I let it.
and it's so funny because, and that's part of what I really hammer down to people when they ask me about attractive character stuff is like, okay, rule number one, it has to be real. Like, it has to be authentic. And so I will never buy a Lamborghini, but I got to sit in one for the first time at Dream 100Con last year. And I literally was like, yo, like, because it was a friend of a friend that had it.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, I got a crazy thought for you, but like, can I bring a goat with me in it? So I got to enjoy my first one and only experience in a Lamborghini with a goat inside. The owner of it was cool enough.
Did you get video of that?
Yes.
I have not seen that. I'm assuming you have it someplace. I'm going to have to find it.
Ridiculous. So now the next like anning up now is we want to try and get a goat on a jet. That'll be the next
That's
plan.
Awesome.
So we'll see.
By the way, just a side note here. I think something you may have to consider, because you just said this. You may have to consider doing some coaching, specifically not just Dream 100 coaching, not copyright. You may have to do some attractive character coaching.
Well, yeah.
I'm just saying, another stream of revenue, because you are very good at it. I mean, you're very good at like portraying it, and it's a lot of fun.
I appreciate it.
But I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know we generally block these out for like 40, 45 minutes. So I want to give you a few minutes here at the end. Obviously, we've talked about your book, which is amazing. Again, we're going to have the link to where you can get the book in the comments and in the description for this video. But also, I want to give you a second to talk about what you're doing, where people can come see you, where they can follow you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, thank you so much. So first and foremost, get the book, please. Like,
yes,
get
the book.
Get the book. Actually, I'll just take 30 seconds. I like to play what I call Dana's book roulette. So it's a little game. So we're gonna just give them a quick preview. Is that cool?
Oh, I love it. Let's do it. Yes.
Right. Tell me when to stop. We're gonna read a quick paragraph. Okay.
Okay. Stop.
Okay. All right. Okay. Number 2.
What page do we hit?
We are on page 94. This is totally random, by the way. All right. So number 2, it's as explosively scalable as any approach you could possibly take. Remember, what is one promotion with one of your Dream 100 affiliates worth? A lot of money over time. A lot of money. Let's be real for a second. I know you're crunching all the numbers in your head of how expensive it is to send out all these boxes. That's good. Be familiar with your numbers. Now let's crunch the numbers of how valuable it is to send these boxes out. It'll keep you on a cliffhanger. So,
Yes.
I mean,
That's the stuff I was talking about though, where, you know, we were talking about being strategic. Like it's totally, totally strategic in sending stuff out. So yes, again, very good spot. I think he cut up. We'll get him in a second.
oh no.
There he is. You're back. You're back.
Hey. Okay. So get the book. That's number one. Number two, if you're ready to really go harder into this Dream 100 thing and do it the right way, and you want to like actually just plug into some assets that are already created, specifically, all right, let's identify who my Dream 100 is. Okay, let's go find them and then build that list. All right. And then number two, okay, now I got it built, but what do I say to them? All right, I'll give you all the scripts so you know exactly what to say. Okay. Then it's number three, okay, I got the relationship built. Now, how do I monetize it? Bam, I give you all the tools, all the assets you need to monetize that. That's all inside my Dream 100 challenge. So when you go to get the book, you've got an option.
So in other words, inside the challenge, it will tell them exactly how to work with the person they want to work with.
Yes. Infinitely valuable. Infinitely.
I love it.
Yeah. So I get so excited because the Dream 100 is it's the only thing, honestly, it's not a shiny object, as you know.
Yeah.
It's been around for literally since the beginning of human being existence. Worked then.
I'm trying to remember who there was somebody like Russell first brought it up. I can't remember the guy that talked about it 30 years or 20 years ago, wrote a book and mentioned it in a couple books and stuff.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Chet Holmes. Yeah.
Yep, that's who it was.
This book, The Ultimate Sales Machine. So he actually, that's how I realized there was a name for what I was doing. And I think it's chapter 9. But he only had a chapter. I was like, oh, this is so good. I need more. So that's why I created the full blown, I wrote the book on it and did all this other stuff. And actually Chet, he's unfortunately passed away, but his daughter, Amanda, who runs his company, she is keynoting at Dream 100 Con this year. So I Dream 100 her. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, this thing works. I do it, and everybody that does it knows it works. So including Trent, this is how he gets such good guests on his show. So
100% right.
Yeah. So with that being said, you can go grab the book right now. If you're ready to dive into the challenge, it's not even that expensive compared to all the value you get in there. Just say yes when I ask you when you go through the book ordering process. Otherwise, make sure you inhale this book. It's going to change your life. And I appreciate you, Trent, for bringing me on and spreading the word about it and for being an awesome student of it. And yeah, thanks, man.
Instagram, and let's see, the social media they can follow you. You're just Derricks Dana, right?
I think so on Instagram. I have somebody.
We'll have it in the feed. I believe he's Instagram.com/Derricks Dana.
Yeah, that sounds
on Instagram. Great. Real Trent Evans. Dana, awesome, man. I greatly appreciate you being here, taking the time, dude. It's been so much fun. We'll do this again sometime. Maybe we'll have to do it live from one of the Dream 100 cons.
Yeah, sounds good, buddy.
But awesome, man. Thanks for your time. This has been a lot of fun, dude. I really hope you enjoyed and got a lot of value of this video. If you did, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment below. I'm going to be answering all the comments myself. And also, come find me on your favorite social media platform and tell me what else I can help you with.